It began like any other quiet Tuesday afternoon. I had just come home from school, the kind of day that drains you without reason. Dad was in the kitchen, humming some old tune from the 90s while making tea. That sound had become oddly comforting, like the heartbeat of our home since Mom passed away 2 years ago. We had learned to live with the silence, to fill it with routines instead of laughter. So when Dad turned toward me that afternoon, eyes shining in a way I hadn't seen in years, and said, "I have someone I want you to meet," I didn't think much of it. I wish I had. Her name was Lilith. And from the second she stepped through the doorway, I felt the air in the room change. She was effortlessly beautiful, tall, poised, with piercing green eyes that looked right through you. Confidence clung to her like perfume. It followed her every move. I assumed she was an old friend, maybe a coworker. But when Dad announced over dinner that they were getting married next month, I nearly dropped my fork. Married? To someone I'd known for less than 10 minutes? The room spun. Lilith smiled softly, offering compliments and light conversation, but something behind those eyes felt calculated. It wasn't maternal warmth. It was something colder, assessing, deliberate. I tried to tell myself I was being unfair. Maybe I was just overprotective, still clinging to memories of Mom. That would have been easier to believe. The wedding was simple but elegant, a backyard ceremony beneath strings of fairy lights. Dad looked happy, genuinely happy, and I forced a smile to match his. But even that night, I noticed how Lilith subtly rearranged everything. The photos, the furniture, the little things that reminded us of Mom. She said she wanted to freshen the place up, but it didn't feel fresh. It felt erased. Weeks passed, and I began noticing smaller things. Things that shouldn't have meant anything but somehow did. Late-night knocks on my door, her excuse always the same, checking if I was okay. Half-whispered phone calls that stopped the moment I entered the room. The way her hand would linger on my shoulder a little too long. Maybe she didn't mean anything by it. Or maybe she did. My instincts screamed at me to be careful, but Dad saw only the best in her. To him, Lilith was perfect. She cooked, cleaned, laughed at his stories. To me, she was a stranger living in my mother's place. One night, I came home later than usual. The house was dark except for the soft glow spilling from the kitchen. Lilith sat at the table in a silk robe, a glass of wine in her hand. She smiled like she'd been waiting. "Can't sleep?" she asked, her voice slow and smooth, almost hypnotic. I muttered something about homework and tried to leave, but she stood and blocked my path. Her fingers brushed my chest. "You look so much like your father did when he was younger," she whispered. For a second, I froze, every nerve in my body on fire, every instinct screaming to run. Then the front door opened. Dad was home early. Lilith stepped back instantly, her expression softening into that sweet, practiced smile. "You're home early, love," she said, wrapping her arms around him as if nothing had happened. My heart pounded so hard I thought he might hear it. That night I locked my bedroom door for the first time. And then every night after, avoiding her became my new routine. Longer study hours, more time at friends' houses, fewer meals at home. Still, Lilith found ways to cross boundaries. A hand brushing too close, a question that felt too personal, a look that lingered too long. Dad noticed none of it. He was blinded by affection, maybe by guilt for moving on too soon after Mom. But I knew what I saw. So I started documenting things. Voice recordings, photos, notes. It felt paranoid at first, but each day proved me right. The breaking point came one night when I caught her in my room. She didn't even pretend to be sorry. My drawers were open, my things scattered. She turned toward me, unbothered. "You have secrets," she said quietly, "and I need to know them." Her tone sent a chill down my spine. That was it, the final straw. I showed everything to Dad the next day, recordings, photos, journal entries. He didn't speak for the longest time, just sat there pale and trembling. Finally, he whispered, "I wanted to believe she loved me, but she was using me to get to you." The divorce papers were filed the next morning. Lilith didn't go quietly. She threw accusations, threatened lawsuits, painted herself as the victim. But truth leaves a trail, and mine was undeniable. When she finally left, it felt like the house exhaled for the first time in months. The silence that followed wasn't empty anymore. It was peace trying to rebuild itself. Dad and I started healing, slowly, carefully. We still don't talk about Lilith. She's like a scar we both know is there, but never touch. If there's one thing I learned, it's this. Not everyone who enters your life does so with love in their heart. Some come wearing masks so perfect, even grief mistakes them for hope. And sometimes, the people who say they love you most are the ones you should fear the deepest.